Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make are chocolate plum cake. We're going to make little bundt cakes. In fact, we're going to be using this pan, okay? And I do get 18 little individual little bundt-ette, or let, I think they're called, out of this recipe. Again, 18. And let's see, let's get started. First, we're going to need butter, of course. And I went ahead and I cut it up into small pieces because I think it's quicker to cream and blend, and much quicker for the video as well. You're going to need 1 cup of butter. Now, you can make this recipe with your hand mixer if you prefer. I like to use the stand because, again, I think it's much quicker for the video. And I'm going to warn you about the sound. So if you want to turn down the sound, my mixer can be loud. So I want to warn you ahead of time. Now, it won't take you very long at all to cream that and break that up. And in fact, if you let the butter sit at room temperature, it's even, much faster to cream. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is granulated sugar. And by the way, I no longer put the recipe below or at the bottom of the video, and I'm sorry about that. So if you want to take notes or jot notes, hopefully I'm going to go slowly enough, clearly enough, that you can get that. So I'm going to back up just a little bit in saying that again as a reminder, 1 cup of butter. Next up again is 3 cups of granulated sugar, which I'm going to put a little at a time to incorporate and mix and beat it with the butter. Spend probably 2 or 3 minutes, maybe even longer, depending on whether you're using your stand-up mixer or a hand mixer and what speed you've chosen. But make sure that it's blended very well. I'm just, again, kind of moving along because of the video. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So let's beat that in, the 2 teaspoons. Butter stuck here, and it tends to stick to the bottom of the bowl, unfortunately. Okay, next thing that we're going to need is half a dozen of eggs, and I'm going to try to beat 1 in at a time. Look, 2 fell in. Okay, and that was 6. Bears repeating. Okay. All right. The next thing that you're going to be putting in and you're going to alternate with is the plum juice. And by the way, we're using plum juice with pulp. That's 2.5 cups, and unfortunately, I left that in my fridge because my kitchen is very warm today, and I just didn't want to leave the plum juice out. So, and like I said, I'm using 1.5 cups. I'll just set it there. of the plum juice with pulp. Now, if you don't want to use you can get, I believe, a plum juice without the pulp if you don't like pulp. I think it gives a little bit of texture to these little bundt cakes that we're making today. And I just realized I'm going to need just one more cup of that. Okay, so let's start working on our dry. And you're going to need 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And then additionally, please add 4 tablespoons of flour also. So 4.5 cups of all-purpose, and then additional plus 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Next, we're going to put in 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And yes, I did say 3. And with my little whisk here, I'm just going to give it a good stir. You're also going to put 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 2 teaspoons. You're also going to be putting in 1 teaspoon of salt. And just give this a good stir. All right. Next, I'm going to just start putting in the dry with the wet. And as I do that, I'm going to add the plum juice. Okay. So let's put a little more flour in. And plum juice, and as you can see, just keep doing that. Now, I've only put in 1.5 cups, so I still need 1 cup. So that's what I have now, because you need 2.5 altogether. All right, so we're going to put a little more dry in. Rest of the dry. Now, if you don't have plum sauce and you do have prune juice, go ahead and use that. It really, I've done it and it really tastes good too. So, but I like the plum for some reason better. And now I'm just going to just mix it, incorporate it, try not to beat it too much so it doesn't toughen up. Oh, and I'm sorry, I almost forgot. You need 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. Sorry about that. 3 teaspoons. And I'm going to turn it up, so I'll warn you about the sound. And spend some time. I don't know whether it's, it'll end up being, again, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. It really depends on the mixer you're using. It looks like I'm going to still have to turn this on for a little bit longer. I'll warn you about the sound. Okay. I like to put that towel just in case we get kind of splattering going on here. And I'm just going to take out my paddle, take out my excess. Okay, we'll set that aside. And then I just want to make sure to get to the sides, check that bottom, because if it's not mixed well enough, I can go back with the beater and beat it a little bit longer. Okay, so we're gonna let that aside for a second. All right, next, of course, you're gonna need, if you are gonna use this, you need a bundt pan. Luckily, I have 3 of them, so for me it's quite easy. But you're going to have to go ahead and grease them and then lightly dust them with flour, and I would be generous with the grease. I really would, okay? And the next thing that you're going to need is the chocolate chips. And you're going to be putting in 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. Now you can use whatever flavor that you want. If you like the bittersweet, the dark chips, you could use vanilla, really whatever flavor that you want, semi-sweet. And with that 1.5 cups, okay, what I do is I like to just sprinkle a little bit of flour in the chips, just to dust them a little bit, because I find if I do that, they tend not to so much sink to the bottom of the little plum cake that we're making, okay? And you can beat them in, or you can fold them in by hand. If you do beat them in, just don't beat them too long, because you don't want to break up the chips. You want them to, you know, that you don't, you know, break them up, bust them up, okay? All right, and then I'm just going to put the chocolate chips in, fold it in, mix it in well. Okay, and you'll have a great smelling cinnamon. It's really sort of like a spice cake, really. And when you bake it in the oven, oh, the kitchen will smell so good. It really will. Now, the next thing that I like to do is I use my very large scoop. And usually it is about 1. And then I just carefully try to get that in there. And it's about, I would say, I fill them about half, just a tish over a half, okay? And you know, you want to get it in as even as possible. You can use a spoon, and then there we go. And I'm not going to bore you with filling those, but again, I did 18 of these small little bundt cakes, okay? So let me wash my hands really quickly. Now you're going to bake these at 350 degrees, and they're going to take you anywhere from 30 minutes to 35 minutes. And as you know, our oven's set up so differently. So I like to start watching mine at about 25 minutes to see. Use your cake tester or a toothpick to see that it comes out dry, that you know the little cake is baked. You don't want to overbake them, because you will dry them out. And what's really nice about these little bundt plum cakes with chocolate chips is that it's very moist, the cake. So you don't want to dry them out by over baking. And I just wanted to wash my hands quickly because I was working with raw eggs. And I'm going to show you what they look like once they are baked up. Now you can garnish them with a glaze on top if you want, a vanilla glaze, just powdered sugar with milk or water, depending on the consistency. Or you can just dust them with powdered sugar, or you can just, you know, have them alone. They're absolutely delicious. I always want to tell you this too, is that if you don't want to put the chocolate chips in the inside, maybe you don't have chocolate chips, maybe you think that it'll be too sweet or something. What you can do is you can put them on this top and bake them. Just sprinkle them on before they go into the oven, and you'll have a little bit of chocolate chips. So I wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you that you can, just garnish with the chocolate chips on top. Or if you put them all through your batter, you can, use the powdered sugar or an icing, or just leave them alone. They're absolutely delicious. Now, I want to grab a knife, and we'll cut one of these open to show you what they look like. You'll have your chocolate chips inside, and it's a very moist cake. I don't know if you'll be able to see when I press down on it. I hope that shot you can see. The crumb on it is so delicate, so light. Oh, these just melt in your mouth. They're so moist, okay? They're delicious, and they're really great when they come out of the oven. Just wait a few minutes though, because you don't want them to break up trying to get them out of the pan. And put your hot pan on a cooling rack. But I really don't know. I hope that you could see. Oh my gosh, these are so light. They're not dense, they're not heavy. It just melts in your mouth, and with the chocolate, oh, they're fantastic. And like I said, if you don't want to, and you just want to garnish with the chocolate chips, oh, these little mini, I'll call them mini bundt cakes, are absolutely delicious. So, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, please let me know. Leave a comment. I will answer in a timely fashion. I'll do my very best. I'd like to remind everyone to please only watch my videos on YouTube. That's the only place that I put my work on. And if you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, boy, I can't thank you enough. Or give the video a like, or ring the bell. I can't thank you enough. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.